Okay, so if I had to start a copywriting business completely from scratch, no previous experience, no skill, no results, nothing. I'm completely starting from scratch like a beginner. Here's exactly what I would do, step by step. Hey, so if you don't know me yet, I'm Matthew Volkwyn. I coach copywriters. I've coached over 1,000 copywriters at this point. Made clients over $10 million. I'm wearing sunglasses because the sun is shining in my eyes and I don't like it. Okay, you know everything about me. Let's get started with this video. I'm gonna pull up my phone because I've actually built a guide that comes with this video, like a simple checklist that you can follow to make sure that you follow everything I'm sharing with you in this video. And this is not just for beginner copywriters. If you're an experienced copywriter and you're making 3 to 10K a month, a lot of this stuff I would actually recommend that you do as well. It'll actually just make you even more money. The first thing I would do is I would meet a lot of successful copywriters because the industry has completely changed since when I originally got started back in 2017, 2018. Back then, you needed more direct response skills, outreach worked differently, businesses hired for different things. Today, yeah, the industry is completely different. Today, people don't value direct response copy as much. They focus more on branding. They focus more on market strategy. They focus on mass market virality sort of type content. A lot of like AI is integrated into that. Another thing that's changed about the industry since when I got started is that now we've got AI. So AI makes the process completely different as well. And the other thing is that copywriters just have been, craft itself is more mainstream. Like people know what copywriters are. Like when I got started, people thought it was some legal thing. Like, oh yeah, you do copyright claims. Like now you tell somebody you're a copywriter, pretty much everybody that I've spoken to recently that's not in our industry knows what a copywriter is, you know? So those three things changed the landscape completely. And so if you don't know a landscape and you're entering a new industry, the best thing to do is to go and talk to people in the industry. Like go and talk to 10, 20 copywriters that are making good money right now for 15 to 20 minutes. Like go interview them. I would literally do that right now. Like what I would do is if I was starting from scratch or I was making 3K a month even, I would go to copywriters and say, hey, I would love to chat with you. I see that you're active in the industry and I'm kind of building up my experience. I'd love to interview you for 15 minutes. I'd be more than happy to even pay you for it. And maybe I wouldn't even offer to pay yet. If they say no or they leave me on red, then maybe I'd offer to pay, but I want to get exposure. I want to see what's working, what's not working, where the deal flow is. For example, right now, as of recording this video, most copywriters are making money from creative strategy related work in the e-commerce sort of direct to consumer marketplace, the advertising. They produce videos, they produce static ads, they produce briefs that show the team how to kind of produce video. That's the kind of stuff good right now, and you get paid really well for it. So if you were to talk to 10 copywriters and let's say 7 of them say, yeah, I'm making good money in creative strategy, that's where you would go, right? So you go to the thing that is making money. So the first step is talk to a lot of copywriters that are already in the industry and find out what's working. It goes for pretty much everything. It's like, how do you close clients? I would talk to 10 copywriters that are successfully closing clients. And I'd say like, what's the model? How does this work? How does that work? Like, how are you doing this part of the process? You want to figure that stuff out. Okay, so the next thing is once you've talked to a few of the established copywriters that are making money in the industry and you kind of choose the place you're going to play. Like for example, let's say 7 out of the 10 of the people that you spoke to, they're doing creative strategy. Cool, so you're going to start by, getting your feet wet in creative strategy. Who else do you need to know? That's kind of what you want to ask yourself. Who do I need to know? Who else do I need to know? And you want to start building that core network, meeting people, adding them on Facebook, adding them on LinkedIn. Even if you're just following their posts and you're just liking their posts, you're kind of integrating, you're immersing yourself in that marketplace and you want to get familiar with that market. You want to see how do people talk to each other? What do they talk about? What's the nature of the market? Don't be shy and just hang out with people at the same level as you. Like the biggest mistake I think newer writers make, and even writers making even sometimes 10K, the circle that they're with are people that are not in with the winners. You need to start surrounding yourself with the winners that are in the game. And this doesn't mean you have to fake it, like you have to pretend that you're a big winner. You can actually just frame it as like, yeah, I'm here, I'm learning. You talk about the previous thing you were doing as a massive success and now you're curious about this new industry that you're in. I think of this as an entrepreneur myself because I'm starting a new business now. I'm a complete beginner in the new business model I'm starting, complete beginner. I have no hesitation or insecurity or doubts about meeting people in that space. In fact, even if they're multi-millionaire business owners in that industry, I can just say like, yeah, like I'm an entrepreneur, I built this business and now I'm breaking into this industry because I have a passion, I have a vision for something I want to build here. And I want to learn as much as possible and kind of surround myself with people that know what they're doing. Like, that is such an easy entry point, and I just don't think people realize how simple it is. Like, people are very warm. I'd say that winners like it. The more the merrier. You know, the top 1% are very helpful, especially as copywriters are very, very warm. The top 1% of copywriters, we're all helping each other all the time. So once you've spoken to those copywriters and you kind of get an idea of which marketplace is where the money is, now you break into that market and you make friends with, you know, a few people there, and you kind of create that initial circle. That completes the first 2 steps. And then you want to move on to step 3. And step 3 is really setting up a personal brand that reflects the market that you're about to get into. You kind of can do this in tandem with step 2. Like, as you meet people in the market, you can build a brand, because that makes it easier for people to reach out to you, because they see you're publishing posts, you're taking professional photos, you're setting yourself up. I did this when I first got started. I paid for a suit. I remember I bought a $300 suit, and I also paid like a couple $100 for a photo shoot, and I got some photos and I got a suit. I was a little bit disconnected to the industry. I didn't realize that the industry doesn't actually need you to have a suit, but I thought I needed a suit. And that's my point, is like, if I had just spent a bit more time surrounding myself with winners, I would have realized like what actually matters. It's not so much about the suit. What actually mattered was being professional, being friendly, being approachable, having like at least a couple of good photos to show that you're a real person, have an interesting background. Like here in Cape Town, you know, if I did the same video in my room with my bed behind me, I don't think it would have the same effect on you, you know? So this kind of stuff's really important in the early days. You want to get clarity on that. So you build the personal brand alongside meeting people. And the brand is not for making sales. The personal brand is not about like, how do you monetize the audience or how do you turn it into a deal? The personal brand is about accessing people in the industry, because you look legit, you look serious, you look like a real participant. They're more likely to engage with you, and they're more likely to say, hey, this person's taking it seriously. They want to be a part of this world. Let me make an effort and let me connect. And so it gets a lot easier to make friends and to connect when you make the effort. Other stuff you can do to increase your personal brand is post frequently on Facebook, tell your story, share some stuff. You don't have to share these sort of like, here's how to do this and here's how I do this, and just share your story, share what you're learning. Let's say you talk to somebody on the phone, maybe you tag them in a post. So I was chatting with so-and-so the other day and I learned this really interesting thing, thanks so much. You just kind of like build some momentum, right? But a lot of people don't do this because they're holding on to this old identity or this old social media profile where they've got all their family and friends. Don't use social media for that. Use social media for business. You can chat to your friends and your family on WhatsApp or in person. Like, use social media as business media. Let's call it that, right? So post some stuff, be an active participant, join the right communities. Very, very simple stuff, but this stuff surrounds you with all the people that you need to know in order to actually start taking the right action in the first place to close clients in whatever the niches that you're getting into, right? And then the other thing with personal brand is obviously set up a CV, build up a mini portfolio in the niche that you're breaking into, like create a strategy. It kind of be useful to write 5 to 10 concepts, you know, build out those concepts and so people can see, like, get a taste of the kind of work that you would do for them. Have a professional CV, have a photo for that CV, write out a cover letter, get sort of familiar with the process. If you're doing create a strategy, right? Like in that case, you apply with a CV. If you were doing a LinkedIn outreach, you would optimize your LinkedIn. Like basic stuff, right? You just set up the full profile. Notice how little time we've spent so far on the actual skill of copywriting, because you want to first set yourself up in the right direction. Like without a destination, there's no wind that's favorable. And that's a really good way to think about it, because it's like, if you don't have a direction in mind, all the effort and all the time that you spend, it could be a waste, it could be useful, we don't know. We need to first figure out what the direction is. And so setting yourself up to have a clear direction in mind and building a personal brand to maximize all of your efforts. So whatever you try to do, at least going to give you a winning chance. So that's how I would set up myself in the beginning. That's steps 1, 2, and 3. If you don't like how you're looking on camera, maybe it's the lighting. I think that's something to think about. Like a lot of the time I see copywriters, they take photos of themselves and they're in the wrong light. Like they're like this, you know, like let me see if I, like half my face, you see like half my face is in the light, half my face is not in the light. Or they're like this, you know, like they're pulling faces at the camera. Get some basic photos from a professional. Don't ask your brother to take the photos because it's just, they don't know what they're doing. And don't take photos at night, maybe. There's too many copywriters that take photos at like nights and they're like, yeah, I got the lights of the city behind me. I look cool. I mean, maybe, but the light doesn't look so good. Like people don't necessarily want to hire somebody that's in the dark, you know, like same thing when you're on camera on an interview or Zoom call. Like you don't want to be showing up on the call I don't know, without a shirt or without a good camera or without a good microphone, you'd be surprised. People think that's okay. And it's like, I mean, no. Like, you can do a race barefoot. You can run barefoot, but I mean, tarmac's going to be hot. It's going to be unpleasant. You're not going to run as fast as everybody else. You can go swimming without flippers on, but you're going to be slower than the guy that's wearing flippers. So like, use everything to your advantage. And so that's what we're doing in the beginning here. We're getting the right gear. Think of it that way. Think of this as a race, and you're preparing yourself with the right gear. You got everything that you need to run this race for a long time, because this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. This is going to take time. So now that we're talking about this being a marathon, the next step is to consistently go out there and approach clients, whether that means you're sending cold emails, whether that means you're applying to gigs, whether that means you're posting on LinkedIn. Whatever the strategy is, you will get clarity on that strategy from the first few conversations that you have at the beginning of the process, back in phase 1 when you talk to different people in the industry. Another way you could do it is you could buy a course. Like, I often believe in pay to play. And the reality of entrepreneurship is it's mostly a pay to play game. Look at Shark Tank. The kind of deals that these guys offer, it's like, it's a shocking deal, but people take it because they have the money, right? So it's pay to play. So you can be upset about it, you know, but you can also just align yourself with the industry. And so I would just say pay to play, if you can, makes sense. Like, a lot of top corporates just bought their way into the right circles. You can do that, buy your way into the right circles. But whatever you do for outreach, or whatever you do for applying to gigs, or whatever you do to go and get clients, whatever strategy you've decided makes sense for you based on, you know, your research process, follow it consistently. With the new business I'm building, I'm following it very consistently. I know exactly what we need to do. I've spoken to enough people. I'm going to speak to more people, and I'm going to follow that strategy consistently until we get results with it. And if we don't get results, I'm going to get feedback. I'm going to look at the steps I'm taking. I got a video on this channel about systems. You can take a look at it. It's going to show you exactly how I troubleshoot, or let's call it diagnose, when I'm not getting results with something. Watch that video and you'll see exactly what I mean when I say, like, take action consistently. If something's not working, optimize the system. Don't change the strategy, okay? Watch that video and you'll get what I mean. All right, we're kind of working on a bit of a timer here. The sun is starting to eat up this light, and now the shadow's starting to come over here. So let's see if I can wrap this up real quick. The next thing is play the long game. Like I've been talking about, like, the consistency thing matters a lot. This is where mindset or beliefs or the stories you tell yourself really start to matter. So I know a lot of people in this industry talk about, like, you know, limiting beliefs, things holding you back. You know, you need to change your beliefs to change your environment. I think that stuff's important, but I actually think it's more important after you know what to do. Like, honestly, like, if you just take the right action, you're going to get results. So it's not so much about mindset. It's more about, can you consistently take the right action? And mindset is often the reason people stop taking the right action, because they don't believe it's working, and now suddenly they doubt the process, or they have voiding rejection, or whatever it is, right? So, and this is where a lot of you are. I think you're already at this phase. You kind of know from my interviews, from some of my videos, maybe you've joined some of my paid material, you're friends with other copywriters, like, you're at this phase now where you've been taking action and you're not getting the results. You need to have a good attitude. Like, all the best athletes in the world, when it comes down to the moment where they have to, you know, take the shot, they win. Like, Cristiano Ronaldo is a fantastic example of this. The guy can handle pressure at an insane level. The final penalty shot of the championship, the whole world's watching, everything is at stake. If he scores, they win. If he misses, they lose. And he just delivers. You know, the guy can just handle the pressure. So for me, I see that as more of the mindset stuff that we need in this space is, can you handle the pressure? Can you handle the rejection? Can you handle the failure? Can you handle the disappointment? Can you maintain composure in a high stakes situation? And can you still take action consistently? If you're struggling with this, now you kind of know what your real bottleneck is. Maybe it actually has nothing to do with all the stuff we talk about in this channel. Maybe it's the self-belief, or maybe it's the stories that you told yourself, or maybe you have someone in your life, like a relationship, somebody's not supporting you, and it just keeps affecting your performance. Like, now you can go and diagnose maybe something in my personal life, or something about the way I was raised, or whatever. It's something that's not appropriate for the environment. Like, you do not need to bring lack of self-worth into a business context. It's not about that. It's about delivering the results. So I want you to start thinking, like, every time that there's a mindset thing or a something that's messing you up, you need to think of it as like, yeah, that is not appropriate. I don't need that in the context of what I'm doing right now. It's not serving this goal. I will resolve it in my personal life or with therapy or with whatever later. it doesn't matter here. I need to continue to take action regardless. Like, so many people stop applying to gigs because they're like, oh, it's too competitive. Or they don't even apply in the first place because they're like, oh, nobody will ever work with me. Like, I'm not qualified for this position. All these little stories, they're not appropriate in the context of building your copywriting business. So they don't have any voice here. Like, they can have a voice in something else, like, but not here, right? So that's the fifth step, is if you're struggling with consistency, start diagnosing what are the stories or the beliefs that are getting in your way. And I often talk about these beliefs on my email list. So like, you can just join my email list at list.copywriting.org and see every single week I'm reminding copywriters, I'm like shaking them like, yeah, you can apply to that gig, or you want to see it this way and this is going to be more useful for you. If you want to get some accountability and you want me to like shake you up a little bit, you can succeed, then join the email list. Okay, now for the moment you've been waiting for. Number 6, deliver the best copy possible. Simple as that. Deliver the best copy possible. If you cannot deliver the best copy possible, you won't retain the clients. So what are you going to do to deliver the best copy possible? You're going to get better. You're going to get feedback. You're going to work on your skill. You're going to write more often. You're going to watch videos. You're going to educate yourself on that. I don't need to talk about that in this video. Like, get good. That's a given. And do whatever you can to get obsessed with getting better. Because once you start closing clients consistently, you don't really need to worry about that anymore. Like, once you solve it, you solve it. The next thing becomes, how do I retain them? How do I deliver for them? How do I get more results? And how do I compound everything we talked about at the beginning, where now you're more of an industry expert. Now you've got experience. Now you've got results. Now you're winning, right? You want to convert the results and then repeat the process, right? Yeah, just get very, very good. What can I say? Get very good. Be obsessed with the craft. Take it seriously. You know, take pride in your work. I think that's a really good way to think of it. Take pride in your work. And the last point, let me just stand up because the sun is disappearing over here. So the last point is just be a professional to work with. Like, be somebody that's pleasurable to work with and easy to work with. Work on the social skills. Make your work the given. The expectation is you're going to deliver good work, but what they don't expect is that they're going to enjoy working with you. They're going to enjoy the experience of talking to you about problems in their business. They're going to enjoy having meetings with you because you're a pleasure. You're a delight to work with. This is the kind of thing that gets you results. This is what separates average copywriters from great copywriters. It's not as much about the skill as you may think. The best people in this industry are the likable ones. Yeah, be likable to work with, be friendly, be easygoing, create positive interactions with clients. And the last thing is just charge reasonably. And if you want to know how to charge properly, I'm going to link my pricing guide in the description along with the video that shows you exactly how I price and how I make it a no-brainer to work with clients. I think if you can get the pricing right and you're likable and you're really good at what you do, and you focus on the right industry because you talk to the right people, you're set. Okay, that's how I would do it. That's how I build a 6-figure. In fact, you can get to multiple 6 figures like that. That's all I got to share with you. Now I'm going to go and hang out with the dojo. I'll chat with you in the next video. Take care.